Alright, testing, good. Okay, now for this video, this is a very special video, okay? I'm gonna keep it short, okay? Now, the reason why I take this video is that after I check your homework and after I look at my previous video, I found that, well, last video, I made some, let's say, very stupid mistake, and I checked your homework that you didn't do too well, especially concerning GDP and GNP. Now, therefore, let's have a very brief review of what is GDP and GNP. Okay, now, first of all, GDP, we are talking about production. Okay, now I should have added local production by someone we call RPU. Okay, now let's look at what is RPU. Now, when we talk about RPU, we are talking about people that has been working, let's say, in Hong Kong. Okay, working in Hong Kong for how long? 1 year. Okay, or intend to do so, 係咪啊？未必已經做咗，但係佢有呢個意識去做嘅。Okay, intend to do so. You see, actually working in Hong Kong for a year. Now, versus for GNP this time, we are not focusing on local production. We are focusing on factor income of residents. So, factor income, just our very usual. For example, wages, dividend, interest, etc. These things are our usual factor income, things that derive from production. Now, funny enough, okay, now here, let's see. This time, we are talking about resident. Okay, now, so what exactly are residents? Residents are people that have been staying in Hong Kong for 1 year or intend to do so. Okay, 嗱，見唔見啊？一個係喺度做嘢，一個就係留喺度啫。話知你做嘢定好食懶飛。Okay, as long as you are staying in Hong Kong, then you will be a resident. Okay, now, therefore, you see something funny here. Now, if you are an RPU, okay, if you are an RPU, we can conclude that you will also be a resident. Or else, how can you work in Hong Kong if you're not staying in Hong Kong? Okay, now, but the opposite, if I tell you someone is a resident, it may not mean an RPU. Okay, now, for, let's say, think about it. Staying in Hong Kong, okay, retired people, 退咗休嗰啲啦, Hong Kong student, you are staying in Hong Kong, no problem, right? But you are definitely not an RPU yet because you're not working. Okay, so this is a theoretical differences. Okay, now let's look at 3 very simple examples. Now, first example. Now, this box is Hong Kong. Okay. Now, let's assume this guy. Let's call him Leo. Okay. Now, Leo, he has been in Hong Kong here, and he just stay here for 1 year. And let's say for this 1 year, he has been working. You see, for the 1 year, he has been staying and working. Okay, now the important thing is, as long as you see it is working for 1 year, immediately you can call Leo as an RPU. 佢就係 RPU 啦，得唔得啊？ Therefore, you see, right? You see, GDP, does it count? Yes. This whole year, this whole 1 year will be in GDP. Now, what about if there is any NFI? Now, for those of you who forget what is NFI, you will need to try to remember. Okay, now remember, GNP or GNI equals to GDP plus NFI. Okay, so when there is no NFI, they will be exactly the same. Now, what happens in this case? Is there any net factor income from abroad or paid abroad? Now, you just ask yourself the question, is there any money any factor income going out or going in? Okay, now the answer is no. Okay, therefore NFI in our case will be 0. Now this is an easy case. Now next case. Now actually let's look at this case first. Now this time, this time this is not Leo. Yes, Taiwan. You know, because you guys love a certain YouTuber talking about Taiwan. Okay, so let's call this Mr. Siu. Okay, now Mr. Siu, in our case, instead of staying in Hong Kong, he actually moved to Taiwan and worked there. In Taiwan for 1 year. Now, from Hong Kong's perspective, Mr. Siu, is he an RPU? The answer is no, because there is no such thing as working in Hong Kong for 1 year. No, it didn't happen. So, he's not an RPU. There is no production by RPU in our case. Therefore, GDP 0. Okay, now what about NFI? Okay, what about NFI? Now remember, NFI, we are talking about by resident. Okay, residents of Hong Kong. Now residence means staying, staying for 1 year or intend to stay for 1 year. Okay, now look at Mr. Siu. Mr. Siu has not even stayed. Here another thing. Not even stayed in Hong Kong for any amount of days. Okay, now definitely he has also stayed in Taiwan, but not in Hong Kong. Therefore, unfortunately, as cruel as it sounds, Mr. Siu is also not a resident for our GNP purposes. Therefore, is there any money earned by resident? Also 0. None of your business, basically. Okay, because he is not a resident in our case. Okay, now let's move on to the final case. More complicated. Okay, now look at here. Originally, let's say the story starts with this. Now this time, let's call this your favorite, Alpha. Okay, Alpha here. Now she originally stayed in Hong Kong for 6 months, but do nothing, not working, and maybe still finding jobs before she landed in SJC, right? Now, for 6 months, she did nothing, right? And then, let's say, she joined an exchange program, okay? An exchange program, which will last for 6 months, half a year, okay? She go to exchange there in Taiwan for 6 months, and she actually work in there, okay? She actually work in there, okay? Work, of course, that would stay there as well. After the exchange program, she come back to Hong Kong and stay for 6 more months. Still, maybe still struggling to find a job. Okay, it's not yet September, so St. Joseph's College still not yet started working. Okay, so still do nothing. Now let's look at this case. Now for our purpose here, since Alpha in Hong Kong, she has not engaged in any work in Hong Kong. Now I make it simpler, so I said her didn't work anything. Okay, she didn't work in Hong Kong for a year, 1年都冇做過啦，係咪啊？ Therefore, she is not an RPU of Hong Kong. So our case, GDP would be 0， 零嘅都係得唔得？ Now, funny enough, see, she has been here for quite a long while, and she has only engaged in an exchange program that clearly only lasts for 6 months. After the 6 months, she will come back. You see, right? there is a clear intention to stay. Intention to stay for 1 year or more, right? Therefore, for our purpose, she is actually a resident, 係咪啊？因為佢有呢個 intention 好明顯㗎。She is a resident, and you see that this resident has brought in some factor income, not in Hong Kong but from Taiwan. Therefore, in our case, we have a Hong Kong resident bringing factor income back to Hong Kong. Therefore, we have 6 months factor income from Taiwan as the NFI of our Hong Kong economy. Okay, now, so this is what I have to say for distinguishing between GDP and GNP. Remember, you always ask yourself, working in Hong Kong, staying in Hong Kong, and that kind of thing. Alright, so that would be all I have to say for GDP and GNP. Hopefully, it can help you clarify some misconception or confusion. Alright, until then, I see you again next time.